Now's the time to be part of the team at Team Toyota. Step up to the plate with a winning lineup of new Toyota models like the new 4Runner, Grand Highlander, and the all-new 2026 RAV4. Or find something perfect for your game plan and your budget with over 300 certified used Toyotas available. And don't sweat a trip to the IL. Our service and collision centers will have you back in the game in no time. So slide into one of our 3 locations, Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or take a swing online at teamtoyota.net. This is Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. That is Sean Kane. I am Spencer McKercher, digital video producer here at NBC Sports Philadelphia. Sean Kane, the producer of Phillies pre- and post-game live.
Yes, sir. Hello, Spencer.
Good to see you, Sean Kane.
Good to see you.
How we doing, pal?
I'm doing good, and just for our YouTube viewers, YouTube viewers that are watching, and a lot of people listen, some people watch. You look terrific today.
Thank you, man.
I mean, you look professional. You always look great, obviously, but
right.
A little different look for you. You're usually rocking the hat a little more, but you're a little more like professional, business-like. No hat. You look like a guy that might be getting ready to turn 30 years old.
Oh man, I do. And the hairline's saying the same thing.
No.
So
you look great.
Thanks, pal. Yeah, we the hat. One, my girlfriend doesn't like when I wear a hat every day.
Okay.
Because I wear a hat every day.
You do wear hats a lot.
I do. I like my hats.
Yeah.
I like my hair too. It's just, as you get older, it's going backwards.
Yeah.
And and it's a little long. I normally have a nice cut. It's a little longer than usual.
Yeah.
But we just did a hit right before this that would be on television.
Television hit.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So you had to spruce it up a little bit.
That, and I was more nervous for that. I was like, well, it's still the same thing.
Right.
And now I was like, let's calm down. Let's get back into our groove here.
Yeah, right. Your element now.
Yeah, exactly.
The podcast.
How we doing, man?
I'm good. Lots to talk about today.
We planned on recording this podcast at the beginning of the week, and about an hour and a half ago by now, it's 4 o'clock as we sit down here on Wednesday, January 14th. About an hour ago, Ranger Suárez to the Boston Red Sox. And I think one of my favorite moments of this offseason so far, especially on the podcast-wise, was when I asked you your percentage of Ranger coming back.
Yes,
you
I said 5, right,
and
yeah.
just inadvertently, I said, damn.
Yes.
You were locked in. And I want to give a shout-out, too. So on our prediction podcasts that we did in beginning of December, end of November.
Yeah.
I said 5 years, 110 for Ranger. You also said Orioles, but it wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the Red Sox. So we're there.
Okay.
We're there. I had the Blue Jays.
Okay, yeah. AL East always seemed likely. One of those teams in the East.
Correct.
AL East.
And it seemed likely that he would not return.
Yes.
And I'm very happy for him. Ranger Suárez signs that 5-year, $130 million contract to go to the Boston Red Sox, $26 million a year. The Phillies did offer him that non-tender qualifying offer. That would have paid him about $22 million a year, or this coming year. Ultimately, he decides to go to Boston. Scott Boras might have a say in that and gets $4 million a year. But man, gonna miss him like crazy.
Yeah, it's it's a big deal. You just said that. Not a surprise. Didn't anticipate him coming back just from a dollars and cents standpoint. He was always going to command a big contract. We always thought it would be a 9-figure contract, which it ended up being. Great deal for him, over $25 million a year across 5 years for the Red Sox. And the Phillies, just where they stood with their payroll and with their other obligations, they just weren't going to be able to compete with that. So never really expected him to come back to the Phillies, to return to the Phillies. But yeah, he's going to be missed. He was a big part of their rotation the last handful of years, and prior to that, started his career as a reliever and always had that versatility to kind of do a little of both, and did a little of both in October, including this past October. But what a big game pitcher. That's kind of what I'll always remember about him, the job he did in the postseason, getting that last out of the 22 NLCS to clinch the pennant. Such a memorable moment, one of the best top moments in Citizens Bank Park history, and he was on the mound for it, and just kind of a carefree guy on and off the field, fielding his position like he had all the time in the world. He just snatch a ground ball, turn to first base like he was playing wiffle ball in the backyard, and just kind of whip it over there. Great pitcher, and did it for a lot of years. He was consistent, avoided major injury, had some stuff that caused him to go on the IL here and there, but he's one of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball, and he got paid like it today.
That he did, and I'm very happy for him. And we knew he was going to get paid. It was one of those things, though, that I didn't it was in the back of my mind, like, yes, he's going to get paid, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't. Like, $100 million was definitely probably the bottom line. But to get $130 million over 5 years.
Yeah.
And I just read something, too. It's actually the Red Sox is the first time that Craig Breslow, their general manager, had signed someone more than 3 years since he's been there for the last 3 seasons. So the biggest was Alex Bregman. He signed a 3-year deal last year.
Yeah.
And obviously, that only worked out for a year as he goes to the Cubs. We'll hit on that in a second. But I'm just happy for him, man. And he joins a rotation that's already stacked. You got Crochet, Brian Bello, some of those other guys, man, that are just already kind of prominent in Boston.
Right.
And if you're a Red Sox fan listening to this, you're getting one of the best human beings, if not the top human being in the clubhouse last season, or basically since 2022. And you're getting one of the best left-handed pitchers in all of baseball since 2022. So I'm really happy for him, man. And yeah, that's some of the numbers here real quick. Over that span since he became a full-time starter in 2022, he posted a 3.59 ERA over 104 starts, but obviously in the postseason, it was even better. In 11 appearances, 8 starts, he has a 1.48 ERA.
I mean, that's crazy.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I even just saw something, too. Him against the Mets and Braves, I feel like he always kind of stepped up, and the numbers go back to show that. So in 49 innings since 2022 against the Mets, he had a 2.57 ERA with 48 strikeouts. Against the Braves since 2022, 78 innings, only 27 earned runs, 79 strikeouts in 78 innings, and a 3.12 ERA.
Yeah.
Like always stepped up. And like you mentioned, a big game pitcher. Obviously came in huge in Game 4 of the NLDS too. He did his job that night in Los Angeles. And man, I'm just going to miss him. But the Phillies do. They do get a 2026 pick.
4th rounder?
It's basically after the 4th round.
Gotcha.
Yes. So after he signed him, since he declined the qualifying offer, we do get a draft pick for draft compensation for that. So I guess a little bit benefit of the doubt for getting rid of a guy that is going to be dearly missed here.
He will be. And interesting to note where he ended up, the Red Sox, who people, once you mentioned Bregman, signed with Chicago over the weekend, people thought maybe they're going to spend the money they had allotted for Bregman on a certain other infielder, Bo Bichette. Now they give Ranger $130 million. Does that limit their financial wherewithal in the pursuit of Bo Bichette? I don't know if we're ready to start talking about Bo yet, but it kind of ties in. Like, this signing is notable for a lot of reasons, with Ranger signing, that is, and the fact that it kind of maybe dents the Red Sox payroll and flexibility a little bit is a big deal.
That it did. And he didn't sign with the Mets.
Well, that too, which we had talked about.
Huge.
Right.
I didn't expect him to sign with the Mets. I would have been shocked if he signed with the Mets.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't. Also, going back real quick, talking about that postseason ERA with Ranger. So the lowest postseason ERA in MLB history. Ready for this? Mariano Rivera sits at 1 at .70.
Okay.
Sandy Koufax at .95. Christy Mathewson at .97, Eddie Plank at 1.32, Steven Strasburg with 1.46, and in comes Ranger Suárez sitting at 6 with a 1.48 ERA.
Impressive company, man. I mean, and it's a big sample size. You mentioned it.
Huge.
What, like
11 appearances?
11 appearances. I think 8 starts, 3 relief appearances. So that's not like a start or two. That's a good stretch there of outings and relief appearances over 4 years, and to put up a 1.48 is pretty impressive. Is Wheeler on that list too? I mean, Wheeler's probably not far behind.
I only got the top 6 there.
Gotcha. Okay. Don't have to go digging for it.
Yeah,
didn't know how long. I know that Zach's ERA.
He's definitely up there, dude. Definitely up there.
Yeah, obviously didn't pitch in this past postseason, but he has been lights out in the previous 3 for the Phils.
That he has, man. That he has. So, going to be dude, greatly missed. Some of my favorite memories I'll have to post some stuff. I have a bunch of videos from locker room celebrations. Yeah. And Ranger would always kind of like sought me out. Yes. And would do the beer directly into my phone, and I believe that's why my phone still can't charge to this day from like the cord.
Well, he's got money if you need a new phone. He can maybe
so
help
true.
You with that.
That's so true. Yeah. I should hit him up.
But he was always in his element in those celebrations.
The best.
You could tell wasn't an act when he was unwinding, drinking a beer.
No.
Yeah.
No, dude, it was always the best, and I'm gonna miss that man. But all the best to Ranger Suárez as he continues his career with the Boston Red Sox. The Phillies do play Boston up in Boston. I believe it's like the middle of May. Okay. I want to say like May 13th, 14th, 15th, around there. It could be the 11th. I know it's like right around the PGA Championship.
There you go.
I know that.
At Aronimink.
No
doubt. Okay.
That's where our minds are at right now.
Yes.
Real quick, too, didn't kind of bury the lead. We have a conversation with Cole Weintraub coming up here in the podcast. NBC Sports Philadelphia digital writer, covering the Phillies so far this offseason, and he ended up finishing up the year. He was on the pod a few weeks ago, so excited for you guys to hear that conversation with Cole. That's coming up shortly. But before we get to that, obviously the other big elephant in the old room, and you mentioned it, Bo Bichette, baby. And hilarious. This is how, I wouldn't say our luck. We don't really have bad luck because I feel like we've been kind of lucky in terms of what we've been doing. But immediately after we had the podcast, I'm like, Sean Kane, is he going to sign here?
Last week, right.
Last week. Yep. We both were like, there's no chance.
I don't know.
Literally 24 hours later, it was like, hey, he has another meeting on Monday, and there's a strong chance he's going to sign here. So I'm going to ask you again. Was Bo Bichette going to sign with the Philadelphia Phillies?
I mean, things have changed in a week. And if you believe what you're seeing with these national reports and various media insiders saying they're kind of now the Phillies are emerging as the front runner and confidence is building that they're going to get something done. And I've seen some people make the point that when Dave Dombrowski's got a big fish in his crosshairs, like Bo Bichette, like, Trey Turner, like whomever he signed these last handful, not just with the Phillies, dating back to his time with the Tigers and the Red Sox and the Marlins, Dave usually gets his man, and this would appear to be another instance of that. There's connections. Don Mattingly and Bo Bichette, very tight from their time with Toronto. Don was a pretty big influence on Bo. Don now the new Phillies bench coach, and we learned that some Phillies players have been texting with Bo Bichette, kind of trying to urge him on to Philadelphia. So there certainly seems to be a lot of factors building, and frankly, the only factor maybe holding things back is just the financial flexibility, which we've talked a lot about. The Phillies are right up against that final threshold, so if they give out another big contract, they're going to be paying it 110% times over, which you can free up some payroll if you do get a Bo Bichette. Does Alec Boehm get traded? That frees up $10 million, which he was just awarded pre-arbitration. J.T. Realmuto still unsigned. Do they have to pivot elsewhere? And the J.T. money now goes to Bo. I would love to see him figure out a way to get Bo Bichette and J.T. Realmuto. That's probably asking a lot. But to me, long story short, if they can get Bo Bichette, do it. The biggest problem, in my opinion, with the last couple of years is the offense has gone cold, the lineup has gone stale in October, and this would be a huge jolt to the lineup. Obviously, I think you plug him in at second base, you leave Trey at shortstop, and then you can move Stott to third or do whatever you want around the infield. But offensively, he is a difference maker. I believe he's got the 7th most hits in baseball, Spence, since 21, which would be the last 5 seasons. So when he's healthy, he hits. You put him up at the top of that order with Turner, Schwarber, and Harper. That's dynamic, and that just gives you another big weapon in October, which really this is all about.
It's wild. I'm glad you brought that up too. So you and I kind of talked off the pod, and we even talked during the podcast last week that I don't know if this would be kind of like that big fish to get over the hump, mainly because in 2024 there was talks about him getting DFA'd, and I've always been the guy that's like, hey, if you're getting threatened to be DFA'd by a team that went to the World Series the year after, I don't think you're worth $30 million a year, $28 million a year, whatever you're going to fish out for this guy. But then I started doing more research.
Right.
I didn't realize how good Bo Bichette's been. You mentioned having the most hits. So basically since 2021, among shortstops, he has the 2nd most hits among all baseball shortstops. 2nd most hits. He has a .292 average. Again, this is since 2021, which ranks 2nd among shortstops.
Yeah.
265 extra base hits, which ranks 6th. 393 RBIs, which ranks 4th, and a WRC plus of 121, which ranks 7th.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, he had a bad 24, you're right, but he's
Terrible
one
24.
of the premier hitters in baseball, and he was again last year before he got hurt.
Bingo. So, land the plane, Dave. Land the plane. I'm here for it. I was kind of against it just because, where are you going to get all this money from? Well, looking back, it's not my money. Tickets might be a little expensive next year.
Yeah.
At Citizens Bank Park. But get the job done. You slot him into the middle of this lineup, it would just be a perfect fit. It's somebody that they've been willing or needing to get over the last 3 seasons where they've come up short.
Yeah.
You need a guy that gets on base, comes up with hits consistently, has the power, that occasional power. I'm here for it, man. Land the plane.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to break up the lefties, not that you have to, like obviously Schwarber and Harper hit back-to-back last year, but you just think about it. If you want to put Turner at the leadoff spot, Harper 2, Bichette 3, Schwarber 4, then you plug in behind from there with whoever's, left on the roster. If Bohm gets traded, obviously he wouldn't be an option. But
So
Adolis Garcia, 5, and then go from there. I mean, that's just a great top 4, and I just think Bichette gives him so much more offensive punch. And a guy that's been through the postseason. Clearly, last year he played hurt in the postseason and was productive for him. So I just think he'd be a big add if they can get it done offensively, which to me has been the biggest problem the last couple of years.
For sure. Going back to the meeting, our very own John Clark. He's got source information, so this is directly from our good buddy John Clark, who's sitting right over there right now. We should go say hi to him.
Yeah.
Source confirms the meeting between the Phillies and Bo Bichette over Zoom yesterday was a very good one. By the way, I would use very well there. I don't know if that's John Clark or a source telling
very
that.
well.
Very well, not very good. Either way, there have been no contract talks yet. It was a very good get-to-know-you meeting for both sides. He was told that the Phillies' interest in Bo is genuine, and he's also interested in the Phillies. And obviously, you mentioned that relationship with Don Mattingly and Bo is very, very important.
Yep.
I think it's there. And like you mentioned, I think Ranger going to the Red Sox kind of eliminates Bo going there. So now it sounds like it's the Yankees, Dodgers, and the Phillies.
Yeah.
And the Phillies are really cautiously optimistic that they're going to get this done.
Yeah. I mean, again, he has relationships. You mentioned that. Just got married a couple of weeks ago, so I feel like now he's probably in a spot where he wants to figure out where he's going to be reporting to spring training. And speaking of spring training, I believe he's got a house down there. The Blue Jays, as you know, train in Dunedin. He's got a house down there. That's right down the road from Clearwater.
Right down the road.
Would not be he'd probably keep the same place and
probably
just report right to Clearwater. So that's a big deal. I mean, you'd think, oh, whatever, but like those guys are down there for a couple months. Like
I'm sure he's down there right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably been down there since December.
So a lot of things apparently working in their favor if they can get it done financially. And I don't want to just kind of like gloss over like, oh, if you have to lose JT. Losing JT would be a big deal. Number one, just because of his relationship and the job he's done with his pitching staff. I mean, these guys rave about him. Wheeler like refuses to pitch to anybody else.
Yep.
So that'd be a big deal. And that's why I don't know if you can get it done. Who knows what they've offered. There's reports that they've offered JT a 3-year deal. Does that offer off the table now if there's another offer out to Bo Bichette? But, losing JT would be a big, big deal. Defensively, a big, big deal to the pitching staff. And a little bit offensively, too. He still has his moments offensively. But, if it's Bichette in, JT out, that's not a win-win. That's a loss on the pitching side, and JT obviously doing what he's done for that staff. So, perfect world, you can figure out a way to get them both in, but you're talking about a lot of money all of a sudden.
Am I nuts to think that they're going to get both?
No, I think
it's going to happen.
I mean, it's just
it's crazy. I saw John Heyman today on MLB Network said, "Hey, they were offered a 3-year deal." That's exactly what I was told down in spring training, the winter meetings.
Yeah,
I was told that the first offer was 2 years. Then JT wanted 3, and they immediately gave him 3, and that's all he wanted. And that's when I was on the podcast with Bob and said, hey, that following day, I believe, which was Wednesday,
right,
the deal was going to get done. It didn't because now there's money situation. But I know it's been a 3-year contract.
Right.
I confirm. Got sources.
Yeah, 3-year deal. I mean, that's and what is the market outside of the Phillies for JT? I've always asked that. Like,
it's got to be, and that's the thing. If you're the Red Sox now, I don't know.
Yeah. Is there other teams like knocking down JT's door right now with these big offers? Like, maybe going back to the Phillies is the best offer, but we shall see, man. But I hope they can figure out a way to get both of them back. But if you can get Bo Bichette and just spark that offense.
I'm gonna put it at 75% that the both are on this roster.
Be a heck of an offseason if they can pull it off.
Definitely not underwhelming.
No,
tell you that.
No, I'd be overwhelmed.
I'd be very overwhelmed.
Here's Whelm and here's me over it. If they can sign Bo Bichette, re-sign JT, in addition, obviously bringing Schwarber back and making the other bullpen moves, like all of a sudden that's a pretty good offseason.
Pretty good offseason, man. Yeah. Pretty good offseason. Speaking of the offseason, we are gonna throw to the interview with Cole Weintraub right now. Then we'll have a quick ad break, and then me and Sean will wrap up. So you're listening to the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. We'll catch you guys on the other side. Spring training right around the corner. So escape the cold and come catch the Phillies in Clearwater with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Phillies Sports Strips. We're teaming up to bring fans the most unforgettable Phillies spring training experience yet. The trip includes Phillies game tickets, beachfront accommodations, round-trip travel, all-inclusive tailgates, and much more. Plus, appearances from Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, and of course, NBC Sports Philadelphia's own Ben Davis. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com. Welcome back to Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. Spencer McKercher, Sean Kane here. we bring in Cole Weintraub of NBC Sports Philadelphia.com. Cole, how you doing, bud? It's good to see you. Last time we talked, there was some good news, some bad news. But since then, really, the news has been kind of blowing up in Phillies world. And we start today on Wednesday with the news of Ranger Suárez signing with the Boston Red Sox on a 5-year, $130 million deal. Just your immediate takeaways and reaction to Ranger not being a member of the Phillies anymore.
You know, there wasn't too much chatter on Rangers market, but I really didn't see the Phillies investing more than $110 million in their starting rotation on an annual basis. And obviously, Ranger's a homegrown guy. He spent 13 years in the organization. You never want to see a guy like that leave, especially one who was so electric in the postseason. But he struggled to throw a ton of innings. He joined the rotation on a full-time basis back in 2022. And he failed to make 30 starts once. So am I nervous about how the rotation might play out if Zach Wheeler doesn't return for the start of the season or isn't as effective? Yes. But as I said the last time I was on here, the front office is on their toes, and they're going to have a short leash, and they're going to make moves when they're necessary. But overall, though, I do think there could be a positive here. It doesn't seem like Boston is going to be too aggressive with their payroll after a big move like this. And they were rumored to pursue Bo Bichette after Alex Bregman signed with the Cubs. So overall, I think this improves the Phillies' chances at landing the infielder, which is, you know, one of the other big headlines.
Yeah, Cole, you just led me right into it. You know, the Ranger tie-in with the Red Sox is something we mentioned earlier, and now here we are with Bo Bichette, and there really seems to be some momentum building that they have a real chance to get to the finish line with Bo Bichette like a week ago. Who would have thought? Your thoughts on A, can it happen? B, if it does happen, just how much of a boost does that give them going into the season? Because that would be a big jolt to the lineup.
Certainly, Sean. I think it really is a great fit, and I do think it can happen. Obviously, you're going to have to move some things around, and I can touch on that in a bit. But starting with like the number, like how many years for Bo Bichette? Like what's realistic? I think for him, considering he's 27, turning 28, he's one of the younger, free agents to hit the market in some time. Juan Soto last offseason, but 7 years seems like the number, and it reminds me of Marcus Semien. A shortstop turned second baseman. He had a 40-plus homer season heading into his contract year. He hit the open market, and he landed a 7-year, $175 million deal. Now, Bichette is by far the best middle infielder in this year's free agent class, which gives him leverage that Semien didn't possess when he was competing with Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, Javier Baez, and Trevor Story that winter. So it's hard for me to envision a guy that isn't known for his defense, one of the worst from a metric standpoint, and won't be playing his position by trade, reeling in $300 million. So the way I see it is, a 7-year, $200 to $210 million, get him to that $30 million annual mark, which would, make him the highest paid second baseman in the game. I think offensively, he does everything that you want. He's a right-handed hitter. He's very balanced. He doesn't really swing and miss. He hits the ball to all fields. And in my opinion, he's just one tick up on Alec Bohm in really every offensive hitting category. And I think he is the most likeliest to get moved. And I think that's where the pieces start to come together.
Again, man, you're doing great here because you're leading directly into our questions.
Right now.
What is the new, if they end up giving him, I think it's going to be around $28 million. I love your interest in 7 years. I could think there's a possibility it is shorter, maybe 3 for 80, somewhere around that range. So it gets you to about $28, $29 million a year. But obviously, if he slides into second base, there's got to be some movement. And I know there's been rumors of, hey, maybe you package Stott and Sosa. You get a little more value from those two than just, say, Alec Bohm. What is your inkling on what this move is going to be if they do end up bringing in Bo?
You have to move Bryson Stott to third base. I think the Phillies have so much confidence in his ability to defend. And I think he can be an everyday third baseman. Is he going to produce the offensive numbers that an everyday third baseman, an above average everyday third baseman might? Maybe not, but the defense certainly will be there. Bo's defense, as I just mentioned, isn't very good. But one thing to look at is Bobby Dickerson, the Phillies infield coach. He really elevated Trey Turner's game defensively last season. I mean, the numbers were off the charts. By far the best year of his career defensively. Now, if the Phillies can get, a league average defense from Bo Bichette at a position he didn't play until the Fall Classic this past year, I think they'll take that. So if it's an infield from left to right of Stott, Turner, Bichette, and Harper, I mean, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it does. And Stott obviously has a little bit of experience at third. Way back when he was a rookie coming up, he played there, believe it or not, to start the season. Him and Bohm were kind of competing for that third base job, which seems like a long time ago, and played shortstop that year. So you're right, Cole. He can play all over the diamond, Bryce and Stott, and probably play close to a Gold Glove level. So it's a good asset to have. I'm with you. I think if Bo comes in, I think Bohm's going to be the one to leave. And we were talking about it earlier, financially trying to make sense of it all. If they're going to give $30 million or in the neighborhood to Bo Bichette every year, is there any way they could fit JT in too? Because JT's still out there, as we all know. JT's been offered a 3-year deal according to reports, and they haven't been able to find that common ground. And JT, admittedly, declining offensively, but you guys know how important he is to the pitching staff. He's still elite defensively. Spencer's holding out hope that they could figure out a way to get Bichette and JT on the roster for 26. Your thoughts on the likelihood of that scenario?
I think if you're JT, if the Phillies were to land Bo Bichette, you got to look at that lineup as, this is the best lineup that we've had since I was a member of the Phillies. Like, if I could join this group, and I don't know about a 1-year deal for JT, but with the lockout on the horizon, right? JT maybe takes a higher AAV 1-year deal to stick with the team. You got to look at the $38 million that's coming off the books for the Phillies going into next season between Taijuan Walker and Nick Castellanos. So I think that plays a role. Moving off of Bohm plays a role. And I think if JT would be willing to take a 1-year deal at a higher annual value, maybe it gets a deal done. It feels unlikely that they'll land both, but from JT's standpoint, put his name in the lineup. He might not be the offensive player he once was, but this pitching staff really needs a veteran like him, especially as Ranger Suárez makes his way to Boston. So I wish I could have a definitive answer, but I'd like to see JT back with the Phils.
I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. And because I think, like I said, I think it's just kind of both sides kind of being stubborn with each other right now between JT and the Phillies. But I think JT doesn't want to go anywhere else. I think he wants to finish his career with Philadelphia. And I think they're going to do whatever it takes to get it done. Cole, as we wrap up here, the Phillies did make kind of a small trade on Tuesday afternoon. Their 40-man roster now is officially complete after they acquired reliever Chase Shugart from the Pirates. I know you wrote a story on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com about Chase. Give that a look on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. But give us and some fans just a little background on Chase and what he could bring to a bullpen and try to fight for a spot in that bullpen.
Well, Spencer, thank you for the story shout out. I like the move. It's a low risk move from Dave Dombrowski, yet another reliever coming in via trade. He features a diverse pitch mix, 5 pitches, mainly relies on that sweeper, slider, sinker. And you just mentioned it. It adds to a bullpen competition that will stir up come spring training. Jonathan Bolin, Zach Pop, Zach McCambley are just some names that are competing. And you have to be fairly excited about this Phillies bullpen because there are going to be a couple under the radar names that are going to do a solid job supplementing Brad Keller and Yohan Duran. And I think Shugart sort of flies under the radar. He was in the Pirates bullpen, not a great team last year, finished lower in the NL Central, which is already one of the weaker divisions in baseball. So I think Shugart is a strong add. Giving Francisco Loretto, who was 18 years old and had only played just over 70 games in pro ball, it just adds to that low risk component. But I'm excited about this reliever competition when the guys get down to Clearwater.
It's definitely going to be a fun storyline down in Clearwater. You mentioned some of those big names. Yeah, those are great, man. That is good.
And Cole, way to Spencer set a high bar for us today with his new professional look, and you matched it. You came in, you did a professional job. No more hats for Spence. He's kind of taking the next step in his career. He may or may not have a big milestone birthday coming up, so I think this is his way of kind of bracing for that. But you did a good job. He set the bar and you got there. Good job.
Yeah,
it's all about the white T-shirt, the quarter zip. I even considered wearing the hat, and maybe I should have thrown on the hat just to throw you guys a curveball.
That's right.
Could have. And it's just three guys in quarter zips talking ball and good hair, baby.
That's
good
right.
Hair.
Sounds good.
Cole, thanks again for joining us, man.
Thanks, Cole.
We'll look for your work on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com in the future, and obviously more Phillies Talk podcast, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, fellas.
Welcome back to the Phillies Talk podcast, presented by Team Toyota. Sean Kane, Spencer McKercher. Great conversation with Cole Weintraub. A kid knows his stuff. Really nice kid, and I'm really excited to be that he's part of the team so far, and we'll see what his future holds here at NBC Sports Philadelphia. But real quick, Sean, we mentioned it kind of right in the beginning of the podcast. Really, the other big news, excuse me, of the week is Alex Bregman. He goes to Chicago Cubs, so he leaves the American League for the first time in his career, now in the National League team, or the National League side. And really, the Cubs are kind of having a sneaky, overwhelming offseason over there. Just your initial thoughts on Bregman going to a National League team?
Yeah, it's a great signing for them. I thought all along that the Red Sox were going to figure out a way to bring him back. I know they really liked having him for that 1 year, but it's a good financial deal for Bregman, and you include the 1 year deal he got last year, which ended up being a 1 year deal with Boston. It kind of worked out for him over the long term of taking that shorter deal. But yeah, just we've talked a lot about him, and he was kind of like my pie in the sky Phillies signing for the offseason. I just thought, what a guy that type of leadership that he brings. People kind of rave about him almost in that Kyle Schwarber mold of being such a great guy in the clubhouse with the younger players. Obviously, his production speaks for itself. A great right-handed hitter with some pop. Just a guy that's been in the postseason, played in the postseason, won a World Series. So good signing for the Cubs, who are gearing up, to deal with the Brewers. They want to kind of take over that NL Central, and signing Alex Bregman is a big deal for them. You mentioned they made some other nice moves. So surprised he did not end up back in Boston, but not surprised at the money he got. I think he's worth it.
Yeah, and the rumors that are coming out of Boston, obviously they went and gave all the money to Ranger Suárez, but it sounded like Breslow, their GM, really kind of just said, here's our offer, no one's going to top it. And then I think Bregman in his camp went back and was like, hey, or I guess Boris was like, hey, there's better offers. And they're like, nah, you're bluffing. And there was a better offer in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he took it. So kind of a big loss for the Red Sox. Like I said, signed him to that 3-year deal. He only lasts 1 year there. And now is with the Chicago Cubs, who that infield might be one of the best in all of baseball. So good for them. It's always good for baseball when the Cubs are good. Like 2016 was so much fun.
Agreed.
2016 was so much fun. So hopefully
good point.
They just don't beat the Phillies in the playoffs, Real quick, other Phillies news. Bryce Harper, did you hear about this? With the Under Armour?
Under Armour, that was my guess, yes.
So he went on TikTok, I guess like the end of last week, and said that he's a free agent in the shoe game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's been with Under Armour since 2016. It's not a 10-year deal with them. Was a free agent, and then yesterday, on Monday, came out that he's back with Under Armour. So, which excites me, because now we get, the rivalry pack again.
Yeah, the rivalry pack, yes.
Right.
Yes. I know Michael and Ricky love that rivalry pack.
Love the rivalry pack.
The Marlins get up. Then he had the yellow for Acuna, and especially the Mets. And they went up to the Mets and got swept, but he was wearing the Mets stuff. Like, Michael was really excited about that. So the rivalry pack returns. Exciting. Good for Bryce. That's good. I'm glad it's cool. He's been with Under Armour. It's nice loyalty.
Do you remember the Miami, what the name was?
Miami Bryce. I just pulled that out.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, Miami Bryce.
That's incredible.
I love it.
Miami Bryce, baby. So,
yes.
Happy for him. Happy for Under Armour. It is cool, like a little behind the scenes. Especially, it happens at home and on the road, but on the road, more importantly. I'll never forget, I was down in Baltimore last season and went down there for the opening. It was the first game of the series. And I'm sitting in the locker room and I'm talking to, I think, Aaron, Nola, and some other guys. And there was like a bunch of guys playing FIFA. It was great. But Bryce comes in a little later, nothing crazy, but he comes in, and all of a sudden one of the equipment either he wasn't familiar looking from the Phillies, so maybe someone from Baltimore comes in with 5 boxes of Under Armour cleats.
Huh.
And Bryce looks through all of them, and he's like, okay, no. Gets to the 4th one. Those are the ones tonight. Puts them on. Gives them to the other 4 back.
Wow.
And I've seen him do that at home too. Like they'll give him like 2 or 3 options, but it was like 5 options in Baltimore. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he just picked his cleat for the game, and
that was it.
Then it went on.
That was it. Lots of options.
Lots of options for Bryce.
Nice.
So happy for him.
Yeah.
Real quick, shout out to the comment on YouTube that said they really appreciate us getting off topic at the start of podcast.
Okay.
Obviously, this is a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Just to wrap up, because we got to get going.
Yeah.
But I want your opinion on what happened in Jacksonville with Liam Cohen and that reporter.
Yes.
Because it's a big stir, man. And us working in the media, I'm on one side and it's on the far side that a lot of people weren't on.
Right. You don't really pride yourself on being that journalistic and, I'm a journalist here. I mean, yes, I certainly know some journalists, some writers, some reporters who kind of pride themselves on that objectivity, and this isn't a press conference after a game, isn't the time for a pep talk, and I certainly not surprised that there's been a big faction of those people. It didn't bother me. And when you find out after the fact exactly who the woman was, her career down there seems like it's pretty legendary. So she has certainly paid her dues. It's not like she just swung into her first press conference and said this. And I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was a nice gesture. I'm not surprised that people thought it wasn't the right forum for it. But, it's nice. The guy just lost a playoff game, and you could tell it made him feel better.
His first year.
It's okay to be nice sometimes. Yeah. It's all right to offer some encouraging words. So, no, I did not get worked up about it. I saw a lot of people did. Glad to hear that we seem to be on the same side with this.
Correct. And shout out to Lynn Jones down in Jacksonville, the reporter. If you don't know, she's the one that gave Liam Cohen all this credit and said,
he did a
keep
great
his head
job.
up.
Keep your head up. Great season.
It was
Get him
incredible.
Next year. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And look,
he handled it well too. I thought he was great with it.
And he was perfect with it. And you could tell his demeanor kind of calmed down a little bit. He was like, you know what? It was appreciative. But the people that are freaking out, man, what are we doing? And I'm not going to dive into it too much, but being in here in all 4 major sports, I've been in the locker rooms for all 4 major sports as of you. You have your what's in the locker room where it is cliquey, and they'll look at you if you're not there every day, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And it feels weird.
Yeah.
And then you have the other people that are great human beings, and they welcome you with open arms and all that stuff. Especially when I was a young kid, coming right out of college, and being in these locker rooms, and people would give me dirty looks. I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm just as much here as you are."
Right.
So, and it's those people that got upset, and that's what's unfortunate here in this industry.
It's sports.
Really
we're all here to do a job, but it's sports at the end of the day.
In the media,
it's not that serious,
and it's changing. It's changing big time.
Is. That's
it's
for
not
sure.
like you have these guys that are just showing up to these ballparks, interviewing players on their phone about their shoes.
Right.
Like it's changing now, and I just had to get that off my chest. It made me really mad seeing everyone really upset about it because, and then especially people kind of coming to the defense of like, it's like this cliquey group of people sometimes that they just treat you differently, and it shouldn't be like that.
Agreed.
So shout out to Lynn Jones down in Jacksonville. That was great. So, all right, on that note, we're landing the plane. Dave, land the plane too.
Dave. Okay, I thought you were calling me Dan or Dave. Yep.
No, you're Sean.
I'm Sean. Yep.
And
again, Spence, really good look for you today.
Thanks, man.
For our YouTube viewers.
Thanks.
You really took it up a couple of steps.
I need to shave my beard.
Maybe a permanent look for you. Ditch the hats. You're a journalist now. You're one of those guys.
Big J, baby.
That's right.
Big J. Real quick, I know we got another comment from a listener. How the Cats doing, dude? V's up?
Some Villanova angst. From
How the Cats doing?
Pat Devlin passed along a message, our co-worker. The Cats are doing good. They won again. 2 road wins in the last 4 days. Cats have already won in the last 2 weeks. They've won at Seton Hall, at Butler, at Marquette, at Providence. I mean, these are tough venues.
Tough.
Now, I don't want to, get any more into Villanova, but
big
so
one this
far
weekend.
So good. 14-3. They're home against the Johnnies on Saturday. So.
Here, right?
Here in the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Big one.
If you're at that game, keep an eye out for 2 Phillies Talk podcast co-hosts.
I'll be there.
Drinking some beers.
That's right.
Watching some Cats basketball. That's a chance. There's a chance that's a thing. So,
yes.
Dave, land the plane. Go get Bo. Hopefully the next time we talk, that's what we're talking about. Look for us next week. But if it happens this week, this weekend, whenever, we'll be here to cover it all. Congratulations to Ranger Suárez one final time. Best of luck in Boston. We're going to miss you here in Philadelphia, brother. but you're going to kill it up there. And Boston, you're getting one of the best left-handed pitchers in all of baseball. You should be very happy. So for Sean Kane, I'm Spencer McKercher. Thanks for listening to the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. We'll catch you guys next time.